Awesome, warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary, aka Kwasapeacefull eating. And this is our early day movement practice. So hopefully you're up early enough to get yourself moving, and then you have enough time because you're not traveling to and from the gym to prepare some beautiful food for yourself for the day. Over here in this little corner of the universe, natural bodies matter. So turn on your heart rate monitors. Make sure you have 20 ounces of water nearby. That's our habit. 20 ounces of water, something to wipe your sweat off. Before we turn on our heart rate monitors, this morning I have just something, a contemplation for us this morning, something I invite you to contemplate. This morning I invite you to shout out to my godparents and to my family. This morning I invite you to consider embracing failure, which is not the same thing as giving up. Embracing failure. I've had more quote unquote failures than I can imagine with eating healthy as someone that was a junk food addict and that grew up in an environment culturally where we self-soothe with food with a lot of really good cooks. So it was so many times more than I can imagine of tasting healthy food that I did not like, buying things, throwing it away, experimentation. I invested so much in classes and courses and educating myself because I was very clear on what I was up against and I didn't want to take needles. So I invite you today to embrace failure. That means it's not going to be perfect. Who cares about the outfit? You're probably going to sweat out your hair, but you can show up and you can learn. It's the consistency over time. We don't need the perfection, but we do need the consistency. Consistency is important. You have a learning curve. So you're not just jumping into a movement practice, muscling through the movements, hurting yourself, or you hit hard, with the ego, lifting too much heavy weight, but your form is off, your core is not engaged, and you jack yourself up and you blame it on the exercise, not considering that most people, 65 to 80 something percent of people, their first several weeks in the gym, they get an injury because the average person is deconditioned. Deconditioned to work out. That sounds crazy, right? But from sitting, our whole structure has changed. Everyone's core is inactive, and that's your glutes working in conjunction with your hamstrings and the several abdominal muscles. We're thinking aesthetics, not thinking function. And I'm telling you, that is going to catch up with you. As somebody that's been 35 years in the industry of whole, fresh living and unprocessed foods and fitness, has been a trainer at Equinox for 10 years, has done fitness competitions, it's going to catch up with you like a mamma jamma. So I'm inviting you to show up to learn, invest in a coach or a trainer that is credible, that is patient with you, especially if you are someone over 35. Keep in mind, after age 35, we're losing muscle every year. That's your metabolism going down the drain. So I'm really big on comprehensive education so you can cut out the guesswork and get really clear on where you want to put most of your energy, your time, and attention. So we're not just wasting time doing arm cardio or jacking ourselves up. All right. That being said, let's turn our heart rate monitors on. If you want recommendations for my favorite heart rate monitor, hit me up. We train every morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll share some of that on my different platforms. Reach out to me if you want to train with me and join the team. This is a lifestyle, not a diet. So you want to look great without pills and surgeries, but more so than looking great, your form, what you look like, is going to follow your function, what you're doing. If your glutes are flat, you're sitting down too much. If you have a lot of extra adipose tissue, you're likely not eating real food, quality food, and you're eating too much. That's simple, right? So let's uncover the blind spots. So we're setting our heart rate monitors for functional training. I'm going to leave the voice prompt on. Right now, I can see that my heart rate is operating at 74 beats per minute. And as a percentage, that's represented as 40%. As you become fitter, as your cardiac muscle becomes fitter, your resting heart rate is going to come down. Your recovery heart rate is going to come down. So we talk about all that stuff in coaching. We answer all your questions so you can be a really smart exerciser, mover, and consumer, right? What do you need this body to be able to do for you the next 6 months, 3 years, 10 years? This is your health insurance. So we're going to put the heart rate monitor right over to the side. I want to get nice and warm. We're using our own body weight. We have a couple of tools nearby if you need to make sure you have good form. We have a chair for those folks that have issues with their knees. You can put a little stool, or you can use your bed, or you can use a chair, whatever is available to you to make sure you have good form to make sure that you're not putting load or the work in the joints. We want the muscles to work, not the tendons and ligaments and the joints, right? We don't want to jack up our joints. That's another reason why you want to stay nice and hydrated so your spine and your joints are not all dry. So if you ever need to lean on something, you can use a broomstick or you can use the back of a chair. I'm going to make sure that you tuck your pelvis under. So you can see here, I'm shortening my spine. I'm pinching my back. You might think it looks cute, but that is jacking up your back. That's creating back pain. So you're going to make sure you tuck your bowl of your pelvis under. Your waist speeds go toward your face. Your pubic bone goes toward your face. If you have a full bucket of water, we don't want it spilling forward or backwards. We're going to roll our shoulders back, around, and down. Draw your belly button into your spine. Even think of if I place my hand on the small of your back, you would be drawing your belly button in towards your spine. You'll likely engage it several times during the movement practice. So you can make sure that your corset, your internal corset, not just Spanx or a waist trainer, is engaged. That's super important. Your breath, you want to ensure that you're listening to your inhale and your exhale for active recovery and to ground yourself into your body. All types of movement are actually a moving meditation. So you can either use your arms, right? Or you can use a broomstick to help with your form. You're going to keep your arms a bit above shoulder height. Try not to let them drop down. And you're going to take a kick, same foot, same hand, kick it up alternately, right? Use your breath. So kick it straight up. Listen to your breath. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick it on a diagonal so your foot is going up to the opposite hand. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. And 10. Now, here's we can use that chair or your stool. You're going to reach your hips back, right? So ideally, your hips and glutes are going parallel to the floor. You're going to sit your hips and butt back on the chair. So that means that my knees stay out of the way. Again, you're going to sit back. Now draw your belly button in so your stomach is not all poked out. Draw your stomach muscles in. Also, as you sit down, you're going to raise the arms up nice and high. My elbow joints are straight. They're not here. They're totally straight. Come back down. Sit down. Raise the arms up. Easy breezy. Reach it back. If you're taller and you need to open your legs a little bit wider, then do so you can scale the movement according to your body height and size. Reaching your hips all the way back. You're going to get good form so you can keep your back pain-free. Last 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Easy breezy today. So place the stick or your hands behind your head or not on the neck, behind the shoulders. You're going to give me some good mornings. So again, tuck your pelvis under, belly button is drawn in. Put your hips and glutes on the back wall so you feel a tremendous stretch in the back of your hamstrings and your glutes. Drive your hips forward, stand up and squeeze the glutes. Lean forward, drive the hips forward so you open up the hip joint at the top of the movement. Exhale and stand. So natural bodies matter. You want to feel your natural body. The glutes have a purpose. It's not just for you to look at. It's so it can fire, so you can sprint and get out of harm's way. And your glutes are assisting you with your back to stand up, bend over and stand up. We want to be able to do this movement pattern when our hair is white. 2, good, and 1. So that's a nice moving or dynamic stretch. Next movement pattern, you're going to keep the stick behind your shoulders. If you don't have the stick, your hands are going to go behind your head. And you're going to make sure you keep your elbows nice and open, right? Tuck your pelvis under, belly button to the spine. So reach your hips back again. Sit, stand, and rotate. Sit your hips back and down. Whatever your biggest or fullest range of motion is, sit it down, stand, and rotate. and rotate. Sit, stand, and rotate. So, especially as we mature, become more seasoned, what some people would call aging, we're going to make sure that we take our time to do a thorough warm-up. I see a lot of people, when they go in the gym, they just jump into heavy weights. The ego will take out the host. So make sure you thoroughly warm up. So the synovial fluid can lubricate your joints. 2 more. 2. Good. And 1. You see how easy breezy that is? Next movement pattern, so we'll also work on your balance. You're going to take an alternate step back, tuck your pelvis under, your arms reach right up for the ceiling. Now, if your back knee can touch the floor, don't slam it down, but alternately step that foot back, drop the knee down to the floor. Raise the arms up, step it back, and step it back. We're always striving to open up the hips. Big stepping down, back and down. Body nice and warm. Last one. Good. And 1. Side lateral lunges are moving out to the side. We want to move all the different directions that the body's able to move, right? Why? So we're using more muscles. So tuck your pelvis under. I'm stepping out to the side. My ankles, knees, and hips are pointing straight ahead. I'm touching the opposite hand down in front of the foot. I'm going to stand up, reach the fingertips for the ceiling. Opposite side, reach it up and reach it up. So one leg, one side gets a nice little squat, other side gets a stretch. Reach it up. So remember, we're listening for the inhale and the exhale. Getting a nice active stretch. So for some people, the warm-up in and of itself, if you're deconditioned, can be a whole movement practice. We're going to activate the glutes now, right? So palms face the floor, get the knees up. See if you can touch your knees to your hands. Knees out to the side. You can get your knees up to the elbows. And use your glutes. Lift the legs to the rear. Again, opening up your hip joint. All right, so let's open up the hips. You're going to take external hip rotations with a bent knee. Open up the hip. You're going to circle to the outside. Three, 2, good, and 1. From here, you're going to give me some butt kicks. So warming up your hamstrings. If you need to step it out, see if you can get your heels to your glutes. Otherwise, you're right here. Or take your hands to the rear. Try to touch your heels to your hands. Belly button is drawn in. Good. Internal rotation, same leg. So make a circle inward, right? Warming up your glutes and your hips. Five, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Back to butt kicks. Now you can stay with your body weight for your butt kicks. Body weight is always preferable, especially if you're deconditioned. So you either right here, or you place your hands right here. If you have to step it out, then just simply reach your heels for your glutes. So those people that have been with me longer, you're holding the ball right in front of you. Make sure you tuck your pelvis under and butt kicks. So, engaging your arms, retracting the shoulders, make it a little more challenging so you can get your heels to your glutes. Good. Same leg. So we're taking our side kick, which my son was explaining to me as a chamber. So with control, you don't just want to fling your foot. You're going to pick the leg up, using your obliques, kick out, bring it in, put it down, go at your own tempo. Use your arms, right, to help you balance. Listen to your breath, kicking it out. If you need to pivot the standing leg, you can do so. 2, 3, use your breath. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You should feel your obliques. 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. So we're going right back to butt kicks. Now on your butt kicks, again, you can just do your body weight, or you can hold on to the ball. Try to get your heels to the glutes. Good, and relax. External hip rotation on the other leg. So what's your heart rate saying? Right, my heart rate is saying 75%. If you don't have a heart rate monitor yet, you're going to be looking at your RPE, your rate of perceived effort, or your rate of perceived exertion. External hip rotation. So with a bent knee, also working your hip flexors. Open up the hip, circles outward. Get nice and warm. Good. Opposite direction. Five, 4, 3, 2, and then we have a side kick. So again, you're using your obliques, right, and glute medius. So I don't want the quad in the front. You want glute medius. So you're going to pick up that leg, kick it out with control. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Don't kick the computer stand. 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I feel that all in my obliques. Your obliques also wrap around functionally to help support your back. Butt kicks again. 14 minutes in. Losing my little headpiece over here. I got the type of ears that don't hold stuff in them. Keep going, 20 more. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heart rate is at 75%. That's 15 minutes in. You need to take a sip of water and take a sip of water. So again, active rest. If your heart rate is up really high, get your palms to face the floor. Get the knees right up to your chest. If you can, touch the knees to to your hands. This would be what I would call active rest. If you need to slow it down, take it lower. Otherwise, get the knees out to the side. Good. Using your glutes, lift the leg to the rear, striving to open up the hips. All right, so take some arm swings, arm circles to the rear, open up the chest and the shoulders. Opposite direction. Good. Swing the arms back and reach them for the ceiling. All the way back. Reach it up for the ceiling. Good. Cross your arms across the chest. Throw it open. Cross and throw. Dial into your breath. Good. Rotate your torso. Notice if you have any kind of tightness in your lower back. Pull your belly button in so you're supporting your back. Good. So you're going to push your hips over to the side wall or window, right? So as I push my hips to the side, think of your upper body reaching up and out to the opposite direction. So you have tension pulling away from this joint, opposite direction. So I'm feeling a stretch here. Push your hips forward. I'm placing my thumbs behind my back so I don't hyperextend or lean too far back, right? I want to open up the hips. And I'm going to put my hips on that side wall. Really push here. My upper body's going this way. Now put your hips and glutes on the wall behind you. So side, front, side, and back. Big hip circles. So again, I'm placing my thumbs behind my lower back. Opposite direction, side, front, side, and back. So I don't hyperextend or lean too far back and pinch the spine. Big hip circles. Got a little bit of balance and stability. Here's a standing leg. Pick up the opposite leg, and you're going to make some little circles like you're going to stir a pot of gumbo. So stir that gumbo to the outside, lubricating the knee joint. Good. Opposite direction, stir that gumbo to the inside. Now, externally rotate. I'm going to make circles to the outside, and then opposite direction, the hand and the ankle. You're also training your brain. Good. So you might feel your hip flexor muscles in the front of the thigh getting warm. This is the standing leg now. Pick up the opposite leg and externally rotate at the knee joint. Good. Opposite direction. Good. And externally rotate the ankle and the wrist. Balance in opposite direction. So let's turn on the glutes a little bit more and activate. So make sure you don't scrunch up your toes. One foot is nice and flat. If you need the stick, you can use the stick. I'm going to hinge forward. So if I hinge forward, one leg is going back, right? You can touch the hand down, and then you're going to stand. If you need the stick, if you don't need the stick, right, you can extend your arms out to the side to help you balance, right? I'm going to lean down and then stand up. When I stand, I'm going to stand all the way up and squeeze my glute so that my hip joint opens. So I'll turn another angle, hinge forward, belly button is drawn in first, pelvis is tucked under, hinge or lean forward at the hip. The opposite leg reaches back, good, and stand up. Good, and lean forward, good, and come up. So you're going to feel, especially if you're standing on something very spongy, your ankles, your knees, and your hips working to find balance. And balance is super important as we mature. The balance, the stability, and the mobility is what's going to enable you to do the strength training without injury. Lean forward, good, and stand. Take your time, even if you do less repetitions. The goal here is to activate or to turn on your glutes. You'll also feel your hamstrings right in the back of the leg. 3 more. So this is 3. Now you should feel your hamstring and your glute getting nice and toasty. 2. Good, and 1. So when we say activate, you should have no doubt what muscle is working by the time you get to the last rep. So spread your toes. Let's work the opposite side again. Tuck your pelvis under. You're going to hinge or lean forward at the hips. If you want to, you can take the other arm out to the side to help you balance. Notice if one side is more steady than the other. Usually one side will be stronger. Hinge forward. Good. Stand all the way up. Listen to your breath. And so many people don't like the balance in exercises. It's like, we don't need to do that. Let's jump into the strength training. But if you don't have stability of these bones inside the sockets, we usually set up for an injury, right? Balance is super important. 3 more. Lean forward. Good, and stand. Squeeze your glute as you stand. 2. Take your time. 1 más. And 1. So you should feel your glutes are nice and toasty, also your hamstrings. So we're going to open the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're going to take another lateral movement or side movement. I'm coming out to the side, so whatever your biggest range of motion is pain-free. One side is getting a squat as I reach the hips back. You're really going to sit back so you feel a deep stretch here. Come to the center. Then opposite side. Good. Really take your time. Sit it back. If you need to hold on to that stick or to a chair, you can do that. Notice if one foot is popping up off the floor. So with functional movement, you can see if your heels are tight, your ankles are tight. Those are the supporting actors and actresses that keep us injury-free and that allow us to do movement. Touch it down. So whatever your biggest range of motion is, the hip reaches back. So you can hold the stretch for a moment. If you can place both feet on the floor if you need to come up. Drop your hips and glutes down to the floor. Come to the center. Opposite side. If you need to, you can rest on the heel. You should feel an even deeper stretch here in your inner thigh now that the body's nice and warm. Good. Coming up. One more time. Over to one side. If you need to place your hands on the floor, that's fine. If you need to place them in front of you for a deeper stretch, you can do that. You can use the hands on the floor. Coming over to the opposite side. Drop your hips and glutes down. Bring your awareness back to your stomach muscles. Draw your belly button in so you're constantly supporting your lower back. Feel that deep stretch in there. Breathe into your stretch. Come to the center. Good. Place your hands on the floor. Grab opposite elbows and just sway side to side. Feel that big stretch in the back of your hamstrings. Also in your back. Good. Shimmy or walk your feet in. Drop your hips and glutes down to the floor and then come up. Good. Straighten. Feel the stretch in the back of the legs. Drop it down and straighten. Good. And then come up. Ease again to the chest. So it should be nice and warm. Or 23 minutes in. Take a sip of water if you need to. So again, we have 20 ounces first thing in the morning. You can warm it up if you have a lot of mucus. Right? Just plain water. Keep it simple and consistent. Now, for those folks that are using a heart rate monitor with me, I can see that would be considered recovery. So that wasn't cardiovascular, but if you're very tight, that might feel like a 10 in terms of intensity, in terms of just the stretch. So you can feel a 10 in terms of intensity on the stretch. We can feel a 10 in terms of cardiovascular endurance, like huffing and puffing and winded, and we can feel a 10 in terms of strength. So we're going to take it up just a little bit. We're going to activate our core, right? So what we're going to do is feet together. If you need to bend your knees, you can do that, right? If you need to bend your knees, you're going to walk yourself out into a plank position. If you need to stay right here, but make sure your hips and glutes are not in the air. And you're going to walk back, walk. And then you're going to come up on the balls of your feet and then reach for the ceiling. Let's look at it in the opposite direction. So this is core. We like to do a lot like a fruit roll up, several things at once. My pelvis is tucked under, belly button is drawn in. If you need to, you're going to straighten the legs out, but if you need to bend, you can bend a little bit. Walk your hands out. So we're using the whole body. See if you can come to a flat plank. And then walk. Your hands back. You're going to reach up on the balls of your feet. Reach the fingertips for the ceiling, right? Again, if you need to bend the knees, walk. Right? Tuck your hips under. Squeeze your thighs and glutes together. Walk the hands back. And reach for the ceiling. So you're going to go at your own tempo. So we're going to take those little inchworm walkouts, and then we're going to take some alternate plank steps, right? Lot rolled into one. Ready? Feet together. So you're going to walk it out. Bend your knees if you need to. Come back. And reach for the ceiling. If you feel a little more energetic, you add a baby hop. Nice soft landing like a cat. Reach your arms up for the ceiling. Walk it out. Squeeze your glutes nice and tight. Or just come up on the balls of the feet. And come back. Walk it out. Hands flat. Now make sure when you walk out to a flat plank position that you are not letting your hips sag. If you're doing this, that's going to compromise your back. You want to be nice and tight with your hips tucked under. Squeeze the thighs and the glutes. Walk it back. 2 more. Walk it out. And reach. Walk it out. And reach. This time you're going to come into that plank. Now, you're coming into the plank position. Level 1, if you need to, you can be on your hands and knees with your hips tucked under. Step that right foot outside the right hand. I want to feel the stretch in that back leg inside the hip joint. Knee comes back down underneath the hip. Opposite side. Step your left foot outside the left hand. I'm feeling a nice stretch in my right hip. Come back to center. Knee comes underneath the hip. Level 2, place your hands flat, elbows, wrists, shoulders are stacked on top of each other. Extend the legs, tuck your hips under, step that right foot outside the right hand, step to the center, left foot. Whatever your range of motion is, if your range of motion is there, then you stay right there. Step it outside, come back to the center, and step, and breathe. Same time. Take your time. If you need to drop your knees down and rest, then do so. Listen to your inhale and your exhale. So we're not jumping up and down, but your core temperature is going to get nice and hot. Step it out. Step it out. 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. And 1. Sit your glutes back to your heels. Walk your hands out in front of you. Feel that nice stretch on your back. Tabletop position. We'll take a stretch break. So hands flat. I'm going to turn my right palm up. Slide my right hand underneath the left. My right shoulder's on the floor. Press that left hand to the floor. Woo. You're going to feel a big stretch across your back. Breathe into the stretch. Just slide it right back out from under. Turn the left palm up. Slide that left palm underneath the right. Left shoulder's on the floor. Press your right hand into the floor. Feel a big stretch across your back. So you want to make sure you do this when you're nice and warm. Slide it out. And then come up. Woo. So you should be feeling nice and warm. We're going to finish this off on the Body-Culinary YouTube page. Sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. Create a great day on purpose. Let me know what you got on your heart rate monitor. And come over to the YouTube channel. Okay. So what's your heart rate monitor saying for those of you using a heart rate monitor? Good morning. Those using the heart rate monitor. So we're going to pick up the pace. We're going to add on just a little bit more. So we're going to take our inchworm walkouts. We're going to take plank steps. And then we're going to take the ball butt kicks, right? So that'd be a nice little teeny tiny functional circuit. Again, on the butt kicks, if you have to just stand and touch your heel to your glutes, you're still going to warm up your calf muscles. That would be level 1. Level 2 is right here, or you can hold on to your hips. Level 3, if you've been with me longer, is to hold on to very, very light water bottles. And then the next level, depending on where you've been at, would be a medicine ball. I'm getting nice and cold. Belly button is in. Always make sure that you have your core integrity is intact. Go for quality movement. If you need to bend the knees, then you bend the knees. Ready? Here we go. Walking out to a plank. Squeeze your glutes. Hips are tucked under, so a nice flat back. Come back. You can come on the balls of the feet. Reach for the toes or add a little hop. Reach it up. Make sure my headphone is not coming out. Three more. One more. And my plank steps. Walk it out and step it out. Go at your own tempo if you need to. Try to keep your hips and glutes out of the air. Hands are flat. Whew. Working the arms, working shoulder stabilization. Two more. Walk, walk, walk. So either just your body weight or grab the ball. You look at the clock. There we go. Oh, if you can, touch your heels to glutes. Belly button's trying it. Walk is kind of heavy. Oh, God. That's 30 seconds. Heart rate is at 83%. Lift the knees up to your chest. Commercial break. We're going to take our plank holds or hollow holds as we recover. So this will be our active rest. Palms flat on the floor. Lift your legs up. So knees are over the hips. Your ankles are in alignment with your knees. So level one, curl your chin into your chest, reach your shoulders off the floor, and extend the arms. 1, 2. Now lower back is to the floor. That's super important. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and rest. So you're making a letter C with your lower back. You want to push the lower back and your belly button down to the floor. So again, curl your chin into your chest, raise the shoulders off the floor, arms extend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and rest. So first priority, always push that lower back down to the floor so you're stabilizing your back. If your lower back is popping off the floor, then you're compromising your lower back, which is a no bueno. Yes? So again, legs up, knees over the hips, ankles in alignment with the heels. Now, if you feel stronger and you can glue that lower back down to the floor, curl your chin into the chest, lift the shoulders, and extend your legs, but only to the point where the lower back stays on the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and knees to chest. Take a little bit of a rest. You can massage your lower back if you need to. Again, take the level that's appropriate for you. Knees into the chest. Curl the shoulders off the floor. Extend the arms and the legs. 1, or they can stay bent. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and rest. Whew. Again, so We're curling the chin into the chest. Shoulders come off the floor. You can either stay here or extend a little bit longer to lower back is to the floor. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and relax. You want to take one more for the road of that same little cycle. So we have the inchworm, walking it out. We have plank step, and then we have butt kicks. And then our warm up is done, and then we'll get into our strength training. All at home, no gym, no problem. Kick your excuses to the curb, right? Because we're moving, first of all, because of how it makes us feel. Looking great, that's nice. That's not enough, right? That's not enough to keep you sustainable. We're moving for the feel-good, non-toxic drugs that we generate from inside our own bodies. Again, bend your knees if you need to. Belly button is drawn in, so you're supporting your back. Walking out into a nice flat plank. Keep your hips and glutes out of the air. Walk back. If you bend your knees if you need to. Reach for the ceiling. You can just come on the balls of the feet. Walk it out. And pick it up. And reach. Make sure your midsection doesn't sink down. One more. Oh gosh. One more. Walk it out. Squeeze your thighs and your glutes. Here come our plank steps. And step it out. So let's hold this one for a second. Push that heel towards the back wall. Squeeze your glutes so you feel the stretch in the back extended leg. Step center. Opposite side. Step that foot right outside the hand. This other leg, I'm pushing that heel towards the back wall. Step center. And step it out. And step. Step it out. Hold the last one. Again, squeeze that glute on the rear heel so you can really feel that stretch in your hip. Step center. Opposite side. Push that heel to the back wall. Feel that stretch in your hip. Step center. And walk it back. Grab your ball. So now I felt that in terms of stretch, but cardiovascular wise, my heart rate is down. So the more cardiovascularly fit you become, it will be harder and harder for your heart rate to go up. So we'll just take 60 seconds, which would be enough to get your heart rate up. 4, 3, 2. So if you need to touch your heels to your glutes, you can do that, or your hands on your hips, or you grab the appropriate light resistance. Heels to the glutes. Make sure your palms are pressed into the ball. Again, step it out if you need to. That's halfway there. So when I hear the heart rate monitor saying that, we know the intensity is up. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 2. Ah, Dios mío. Heart rate there got up to 80%. Swing your arms back, across, and throw. Little stretch. You can hold on to the stick or a chair or nothing. The stick is straight up. I'm stepping the same leg that's on the same side of the stick. Step it forward. Reach your hips back and feel the stretch in the back of that leg. And stand. Sit it back. Good. Sit it back and hold it. Throw your belly button in. That same leg, cross it over the opposite knee. Let your hips reach back. Let this knee spill open to the side. Ooh. You're gonna feel a big stretch around your hip, into your glute and lower back, and stand. Cross it over and sit. Good. And stand. Once more. Sit back. Good. And stand. Opposite side. So the same leg that's on the same side as the stick. Step forward. Reach your hips back. Feel that big stretch in the back of the legs. Back of your hamstrings. And stand. Step forward. Reach your hips back. Good. And stand. Again. Reach back. Then stand that same foot. You're going to cross it over the opposite knee. Let your knee open out to the side. Ooh, the more it opens out to the side, the deeper stretch you're going to feel around your hip. And it travels to your low back. Cross it, sit back, let that knee spill open to the side. Also working on your balance. Sit it back. Good. Undulation of the spine. So we don't want a stiff spine. We want to hold on to our spine. Once they start operating on your spine and your vertebra, sticking pins in it, you're going to become very, very stiff. So if they operate on this one, it's a matter of time before the one above and below start to become compromised. So we want fluid movement, which will also remind you to stay hydrated. So if you want, you can hold the stick in front of you, drop your torso down. The head is going to follow. Give it very Albanelli. So let your torso drop down. Round your back up. Drop your torso down. Round it up. If you want to, you can get rid of the stick. Hands are on the thighs. Drop your whole torso down. Round your spine up. Drop it down. Round it up. Drop down. Round it up. This time you're going to drop down. So whatever you're able to do, if you need to come up and out, then do that. Then I'm going to sit into a nice wide little squat. Right? This deep squat is very important to the health of your back. Try to open your chest up. If you can, place the hands in prayer position and gently press the knees open. Your belly button in. So I'm going to take one arm. My palm is facing the floor. I'm going to extend it. Try to straighten out the elbow joint. Feel that stretch travel down the side of your body all the way to your lower back. Hands come together in prayer position in the center. And then opposite side, extend that arm. Try to get the elbow joint straight. Try to get the arm or more towards your head. Hands come in prayer position. Again, if you need to stand up for a moment, do so. Hands in prayer position. Press the knees open. Again, opposite side, extend the arm. Elbows straight. Reach all the way through the fingertips. Hands come back together in prayer position. Opposite side, extend the arm. Extend your elbow. Good. Hands come together in prayer position. Press it open. You're going to sit back on your glutes for a moment. You're going to drop both knees over to one side for hip mobility. Come to the center. Drop both knees over to the opposite side. Center. Drop both knees over. Center. Both knees over. Now, if you can, you're going to decline or come back and rest for a moment on your back elbow. That's going to give you a big stretch here in the front of your leg. See if you can put one finger in the hip joint. Push your hip forward. Ooh, you're going to feel a big stretch here. This is what we want to open up because this is closed down from sitting. Drop the hip down. Press it forward. Squeeze your glute. That'll give you an even more intense stretch. Breathe into your stretch so that the body doesn't lock up. Good. Over to the opposite side. Mermaid stretch on the other side. Mermaid or merman, whatever you are. Decline down to your elbow. Feel that stretch here. If this is tight, that's also going to contribute to you having issues with your knees. So push your hip joint forward. Squeeze your glute. You want to feel that stretch here in the hip joint. Breathe into your stretch. Drop the hip down again and then push the hip forward. Put your finger down. Push your hip into your hand. Oof. So I can feel that in the hip and all the way down the front of the quad or the front of my thigh. Good. Come into your tripod position. Belly button's drawn in. Inhale. Now, before you start a forward bend, inhale. Then exhale. Pull the stomach muscles in. Walk your hands forward. Now, if you're here, that's fine. So it's just a consistency that's going to open your body forward. Your stretches should be to the point of slight discomfort. So walk your hands forward. Strive to straighten out your back so you're not so rounded. So reach your chest more forward. Hang out there for a moment. You can wiggle your body to work your way into the stretch. Listen to your inhale and exhale as the body cools itself down. Walk the hands back. I'm going to lean over to my right side, so you may be mirroring me. So I'm going to use my right arm, press the right thigh open. Inhale and exhale. So I'm going to strive to straighten out my top arm. Palm faces the floor. See if you can reach for those toes and feel the big stretch along the side of the body. Whew. Now, this stretch here will get all the way into your QL, which you can feel in your lower back. Circle that arm around, or your quadratus lumborum. Look it up. Sometimes it's that spot you're trying to stretch it out and you can't quite seem to access it. A lot of times it's QL. Let the body float up over to the opposite side. Inhale. Exhale, left arm is going to press the left thigh open. Inhale, good, and exhale, reach it over. Circle that arm around, reach it over again. Let the body float up. Take a moment, set the intention for your day. When you think of how expensive your focus is, right? How easy it is to just lose your time scrolling on the internet or going back and forth being a keyboard warrior. But if you think about it, does that really benefit you? Not really. A lot of times it's just our egos that are engaging with each other. And the only ones getting paid off of that is the people that own the internet. And the people trying to sell information on what your likes and your clicks are, right? So I invite you here on this channel to really honor your body temple and think of, what do you need your body to do for you in the next couple of weeks, the next 6 months, the next year, right? The movement practice, we're moving because of how it makes us feel. These are what I call leveraged lifestyle practices, which are extremely therapeutic, and you have access to it. Nobody can take it away from you. As you cultivate your movement practice and you get solidified in it, your movement practice will serve you until your hair is white. It will grow with you. It can scale with you. I invite you to feed yourself the most delicious foods today that are healthy and full of life force and vitality. Take a screenshot of what you got on your heart rate monitor. Share it for those ladies in the Flower Fit community. Share it there, or if you're in Body-Culinary, share it inside the comments. If you're interested in training the full workout every day with me, where we do cardio, flexibility, strength, mobility, right, and dynamic flexibility, all in the same space. You don't necessarily need a gym. I know how to use a gym. But it's beautiful to know that you have a movement practice that's not dependent on anything, so you can get the consistency going. So if you have questions, interested in out to me, download your copy of Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget, so you can get some insight into how a former junk food junkie, right, how's able to kick that. And whatever label you want to call yourself as your business, but everybody can benefit from more whole, fresh living, unprocessed fruits and vegetables and nuts. Did I create a great day on purpose? I'm going to get to the last small portion of my movement practice, which is strength. Like, comment, share, subscribe.